This is BJJ Hood, tapping into Jiu-Jitsu lives on and off the mats.
Hello, hello. We are back. This is the BJJ Hood podcast. I'm Babi, your host.
And I'm Shae, your co-host.
We're here to share inspirational stories about women in Jiu-Jitsu and how the martial art changed their lives. Today with us for the episode 30th, Black Belt Mariia Vars. She's a strength and condition trainer, IBJJF Europeans multi-medalist. Mariia lives in Istanbul, Turkey, and she also works as a jiu-jitsu professor, a referee for many jiu-jitsu tournaments in the area. So we're going to talk to her today about her experiences and her story in jiu-jitsu. Mariia, welcome to the BJJ Hood podcast.
Thank you, girls. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I always try to take a part of such a things because it's important to support each other for us women.
Yes, of course. We'd like to start asking you, tell us, how did you start jiu-jitsu?
It was quite long time ago. I started in my hometown. I actually from Russia originally. I started to train in Siberia. It's the coldest part in Russia, if you guys know something about it. And it was quite hardcore. We started without anything. Back then, there was no such a things as a YouTube or something else. My coach was a blue belt, and it was very interesting time. But very, very soon, I moved to Moscow, and whole my kind of BJJ journey based in Moscow. Yeah, I was training there for like over 7 years, and I got my brown belt there. I moved to Turkey as a brown belt, and I received my black belt during my life and training work here.
When you started there in Russia, like, when was the last time that you heard about jiu-jitsu, and like, why did you take interest in jiu-jitsu?
First of all, I was going to find a place where I will work out, like anything. And back then, CrossFit was quite popular everywhere. And I just came to the gym, and guys who were training there, they were practicing jiu-jitsu already. And I've been just watching a lot, and I was regretting to start. I was so scared, and I was shocked by watching what's happening on the mats, especially when the guy is trying to like choke woman or something. I was like with my big eyes opened and like, oh my god, no way I will start this thing, no fucking way. I was saying like that. Yeah, it was very, very hard to understand why I would start this. But then my team, they bought a beautiful kimono. Everything starts from gear. And I just wear the gi on, and I was like, wow, I look so good, and it makes me feel to try. That's how I step on the mat, and I was shocked from the first class. I was in love. It was love from the first workout or training, how you say. I started to train jiu-jitsu every day, like literally every day, 4 hours a day without no rest. It was like I don't know how to explain my love. It was just freaking out thing. I was training every day. So that's how I start. People made me to start around me, and I lived in a small town, so it was quite nothing to do basically there. And I was just trying to find a place where I can train, and people were so kind, so sweet. They were helping me a lot, and my coach, like I want to say hi to him, thanks to him for everything he has done to me, because he was so patient. I literally couldn't stand on my feet. Like I was just unbalanced, like concentrated. It was so hard, but I made it.
Yeah. So you were talking about that difference, right? Like when you started, how you felt, like it's almost like a overwhelming feeling of like so many things that you have to do. What do you think that jiu-jitsu helped you in your journey? It's been like more than 10 years that you've been training, and going from that person that couldn't do a lot and that couldn't even like stand up, like you just said, to where you are today as a black belt, as a professor. Like, what are the things that you can tell that helped you, not just on the mats, on like jiu-jitsu per se, but in everything in your life?
Yeah, that's what I basically wanted to talk about. It's about the other side of our lives, because I can talk a lot of competitions about jiu-jitsu things, techniques and stuff, but I want to talk about the different things, how it helped personally me. I've been diagnosed with ADHD, and this is kind of hard thing to understand. So I wanted to talk about it a lot today, because this is really helps to people with the kind of difficulties to concentrate the attention, to focus on something, to understand yourself more, to be more patient, because I'm a very impatient person, and to be able to understand other people's more. So I become, guys, more calm inside of myself as a woman, as a human. I start to be able to enjoy the routine, because in jiu-jitsu we do a lot of routine, same as we do many things, which is not looking the same every day. So it really helps me to understand that we are all different, that your ego has to be like has to be low as possible, no ego. I learned how to respect opponents, how to be appreciated for everything is happening on the mats. And I think this is very life-changing thing, because we are all really different, and sometimes we are selfish, sometimes we are very, very arrogant to each other. But in jiu-jitsu, we are all the same. That's why I love, because on the mats you can meet like lawyers, doctors, students, anyone. But when we wear kimonos and stepping on the mat, we're all the same. I love this feeling. So I think basically I become more calm, and I become more patient to people.
Why do you think you become more calm and patient? Like, what about jiu-jitsu makes it so that you're able to like bring that out if it's not natural to you? Um, what is what part of jiu-jitsu helps you do that?
I think the routine of the workouts, because I've been training quite a huge amount of hours, as I can say. For example, not just 1.5 hour. My workout was like 3 hours, because we had opportunity, and I'm so glad. These things which is making me repeat the same thing, because you have to be patient. Or for example, I can't do this or that technique, and I have to repeat again and again. This is just building inside of you a very big strength, and you trying to understand yourself in these moments. And I think this is very cool thing.
I was just gonna say, so I'm ADHD, and so I'm just kind of like listening to you in the sense of like being calm and patient. And I would definitely say that structure is really hard for somebody that is ADD or
Yeah.
ADHD, right? Like you can't stand it. You don't want to be a part of it. It kind of makes you feel suffocated. You want to go to the next thing. That's why like a lot of people that have ADD or ADHD, right, have a million hobbies, right? And we like hyper focus on a hobby, and then we quickly get burnt out and we move to the next thing. And it's almost like jiu-jitsu gives you that focus to maintain that focus, and you don't lose interest because you're part of a community that kind of doesn't let you go. They kind of hug
Yeah.
on to you, and then you feel like, well, I have to keep on going because I started it, and I feel like I'm going to let somebody down if I go and deviate and start something else. And so it really kind of grounds you to it, and doesn't make you move, which is out of character for somebody maybe like you and me, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. And also the thing that when you come to the class, jiu-jitsu class, every day you come and it's not the same, which is very important for ADHD people, because we are getting bored from everything. Like, okay, I'm like singing, I was dancing, I was drawing, I was like, everything doing. And only I think jiu-jitsu makes me complete and like still keep going, and I'm not getting bored from this, because as I said, you come into training and it's not the same. Okay, yeah, you're doing the same thing, you're doing the same maybe warm up, same things. But when you starting to roll, like to spar with people, it's never the same. Every time, even with the same person, you will never feel the same reaction. You will never feel the same like speed or the same amount of strength, because we all have like mood and like how we feel ourselves. So I think this is also very, very cool thing that every time is like something new, something special, something cool. Same as how many coaches, how many professors we have, so many closed guards. The same sweep, let's say like flower sweep, you will see from different black belts. Isn't it cool? Like how many classic armbar from closed guard you can see from like 10 coaches, 10 different armbars, same. So I think this is so magical, and I can't name any other martial arts like or any sports which can say the same. I was doing volleyball, I was doing basketball, I was doing many things. So really, this is special about jiu-jitsu community, and the style of our workouts are very for people who are struggling from ADHD, because if you know, probably you do, that people who are having ADHD trying to find for themselves kind of sports thing, because it really helps and to release the head, to feel better, and they don't know where to go. They don't know, they are coming just to lift heavy weights or something, which I also adore, but it's not the same. They feel bored from this as well very fast. So I would really recommend to people to try jiu-jitsu, because they would feel amazing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, when you're talking, it's funny because Shae always says that I have ADD or ADHD. I'm not diagnosed. She diagnosed me. But anytime you guys talk about it, it's funny because I can see myself totally. Like I have, she knows because she knows me personally, but it's like I have a million hobbies. Every month I want to start something new, and I want to start a new business, and I want to start a new, like I have so many ideas. It's so much inside my head. But as you were saying, it's funny because jujitsu is something that is consistent in my life. And even with like, sometimes I'm for, I don't know, 2-3 years living in a place, and I'm like, I think I want to move. I just want to go live somewhere else. And I'm like, why can't I never like get satisfied where I am? It might be just because I'm always constantly trying to get that rush of like something new, and I don't know, and I'm gonna just get excited about it.
It looks
Right?
like this, but also I wanted to say that nowadays I think people are overwhelmed in general because of the internet, because we have over information every day. We are reading a lot, we are like scrolling a lot, and I think this is quite okay that we are all having like any kind of ADHD or something else. It's just important to understand that I'm very happy that jiu-jitsu in my life, because this is really helps in any case. I mean, about ADHD especially.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It's something that you have, not that you have to, but you can stick with, because like you said, any other sports, maybe you're gonna learn the movements and that's it. Jiu-jitsu is endless. This year something came up, next year something else is gonna come up, and then another position, and then you were doing something and you're like, wait a minute, but could I do this from here or that? And yourself, you can start like coming up with ideas. So it could be something new every day. It could be always
and
new.
even
It never ends.
Sorry that I cut you. And
No
even
problem.
in my case, I wanted to say that, for example, I've been a competitor. I was competing, and after a certain time, I start to be a teacher. So what I wanted to say, that in jiu-jitsu, you can also transition yourself. It doesn't mean that you have to compete like crazy and be a world champion. Not everyone a world champion, but it also doesn't mean that you can't practice jiu-jitsu. It doesn't mean that if you don't compete, that's that over, it's not. And that's what I wanted to say to people, that when you look into highlights of like world champions, like especially for girls who are scared to come to the classes to dojo, they see powerful, like strong, perfect body women. Maybe they feel themselves, like I don't deserve it. It's just for like athletes. I can't be perfect like them. It's not like that. I have overweight. I have like, many not so athletic body, but it doesn't mean I can't practice jiu-jitsu, because there's such a thing that you can adjust and you can adopt any technique, any guard, any position for your body type. It doesn't mean that you can't do spider guard if you are short. Opposite. For example, look at Marcelo Garcia. He is amazing. He is a very short guy with short legs, with like short arms, and what he's doing. Like many other people who showed us that jiu-jitsu is really for everyone. And I always, when I meet women and who are like, trying to say, oh, what is that? Oh, I can't do it. I'm so weak. And I'm always telling you have no idea how powerful you are, because because in jiu-jitsu we can adjust. That's what I wanted to say.
I think for us women, we are so used to hear people saying that we can't do a bunch of stuff that we kind of take that on ourselves, and we're like, yeah, I can't do this. I mean, you won't be able to do if you don't try to. But if you train hard, if you come and you keep trying, you're gonna fail a bunch of times. That's normal. It's not just because you're a woman, anybody's gonna fail. There's maybe like 0.01% of people, they're really good and they're just gonna get the move right away. But the majority, they're not. You have to come and try. You have to try again. Oh, it's not working for me. I'm not gonna do this again. No, it's not working because you didn't get it right yet. But if you keep trying, it's gonna work. Keep adjusting, like you said. Each body is different. What my body can do is different from what Shae's can do. That's different from what you can do. And you can just go into just a little detail there, and that's gonna help you. I can show you how to do a position, but you're gonna tell me how it feels more comfortable for your body, for your limitations. So it's really important that they understand that.
Nowadays, people are not talking about it a lot, because as I see from my practice, people come in, for example, and they have no idea where they are, what to do. Like, okay, technical parts, sparring, this is fine, typical almost everywhere. People teaching like warm up, technical part, rolling, right? But I think there is not enough of information about what you just have said. For example, like when you come, it's okay to fail. You have to be patient. It's okay to, if the technique doesn't work straight away, you have to try again. I think because of the overwhelming, maybe for a coach, right, to speak with everyone, people just get into this information very late, in my opinion. If I would be a white belt, I would like to know these things at first. Some theoretic part, explanation that what you will feel, it's totally fine, and like how to behave on the mats as well, because not every gym teaching that, unfortunately. And I think this is very important part for people to have conversations with someone who can explain about it. For example, when I was in Moscow, when I teach there, and when I was part of the higher belts team, I've been spending like a 2 hours minimum with every beginner, explaining and trying to give as much as I can from my side. They were calling me even jiu-jitsu mom, because I was feeling like responsibility for everyone who was stepping on the mat as a brown belt. I was trying to say that it's safe place, that they can feel good, that they can ask anything they want, and trying to explain every process they feel that they can fail, and it's also fine. Like, that's what I think very important in our lovely jiu-jitsu world.
Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, when people get on to the mat, it's like open, like brand new, right? If they've never done it before, they've never wrestled, they haven't grappled, like one, you're in close contact with somebody, which is not normal in today's society, right? It's a co-ed a lot of times. You're barefoot, which a lot of people don't unless you like live at
Yeah.
the beach, right? You're sweating, you're just up close and personal. In addition to, you have to demonstrate your ability as a human. Can I stand properly? Can I balance? Can I be coordinated? Which all is ego, that you don't want to show somebody that you're not capable of doing that, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, like I was in PT and they're showing me different moves and I was like, it's hold on one second, I'm not like fully like gathering what you're telling me to do. And they're kind of looking at me like, this is really easy, why can't you do it? And I was like, sorry, my coordination's a little off, I was gonna take me a minute. But a lot of people don't feel comfortable kind of like, I don't know, just finding humor in it, right? And saying, slow down a minute. They want to like, mask it as if they do know, and then they walk away of like, I have no idea what I was supposed to be doing. I don't know if I was doing it right, you know? And so it's so important to have somebody like you on the mat to help people along and coach them and say it's okay, you know, to fail, like you had said, or it's okay to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, and holding the gi. You don't need to act feminine here, and all those type of conversations I think are super huge for the women community, getting people into the sport, because I think it's very important to get everybody into the sport, to be
Yeah,
quite honest.
right. When I've been in Georgia, like in Tbilisi, Tiflis it calls, I think, in English, I did a free masterclass, I can't say seminar, for girls. They have such a good team. Hi to them if they're watching. And I was taking a lot of pleasure to just even talking with them. After I give a masterclass, I've been talking maybe 1.5 hours. I was trying to explain them what they can feel. They were asking me questions and we were just like chatting. And I remember their eyes, and I understand that they never hear it before, you know, and this is quite devastating, you know, because I would like to, every girl, especially for us, for girls, because boys are more into contact sports and stuff, to being talked, you know, to just feel safe. Because for us, I think this is very important, to be able to have someone to whom we can talk, and especially who is very long time in the sport and was competing and stuff like that and knows many things. So I feel like also responsibility from my side when I'm with like beginners girls, to give this, you know, not just techniques, because anyone can teach them like armbar or something, but maybe I can give something from heart and from my soul, and like to make them feel more comfortable and to make them continue jiu-jitsu, you know, no matter what they feel, and to pass this hardness or goodness, like doesn't matter, you know. So I mean, mental things are very important.
Yeah,
But
I think that's why.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna compliment with like, because that's what we want to do here too. It's talk to them, and I don't think just for the women, to the men too. And it's a society thing, but I think we as women, we can talk more about like how we feel. It's easier for us to have those conversations, and that's why it's so important to have women on the mat, because I think we can kind of open that space for the guys to be like, as you guys were saying, it's not just that you are a beginner and you don't know how to do it, but a lot of them, they don't want to kind of like impose on the black belt. I hear a lot of white belts saying like, I don't want to waste your time, I don't want you like having to work with
this
me.
is so bad. Like I'm always,
you know,
oh my god, don't say that, please, because this is not what we are doing here.
right, that's what I tell them. I'm like, hey, we all have been a white belt once. We've
Yes.
all been there, and we need the higher belts to teach us as lower belts. So now that I'm getting to the higher belt point, like I'm a brown belt now, so as a brown belt, as a purple belt, as a black belt, I feel it's my responsibility to teach you. It's not like that it's a burden for me to be training with you. I want you to get better, because when you get better, I can also be better. I need you here. So don't feel like you are not worth my time. You are. And again, it's normal. You're gonna suck. You've never done this in your life. let's just keep doing it. Let's keep working together. I'll stay with you another 10 minutes here working on that technique. Do you have any questions, like specific questions that you can ask during class?
Yeah.
Ask me, ask your professor, ask somebody, like, right? Like, sit with somebody else and, like, okay, wait a minute. Don't go home without understanding what we taught here, because then tomorrow it might be something a little different. And if you didn't
Yeah.
get what we taught you today, you won't be able to continue learning what we are adding on this week. So ask questions. It's fine. You can ask. I ask 20 times. Sometimes I'm like, my husband's a black belt and he shows me something and I'm like, I don't get it. And he's like, how can you not get it? And I'm like, I just don't. You're gonna have to, like, slowly show me, like, I'm a baby, I'm a kid, and you're gonna have to show me every single detail now, because I just don't understand. And that's how it has to be for me to understand. And then he goes and does it, but if I don't say anything and I just fake that I got it, I'm not gonna get
Yeah,
it.
it
I'm not
depends
gonna
on
do it.
the professor as well, because some of the professors are not, like happy when you are as a higher belt helping to people to understand, and like you've said, like step by step, every detail you are explaining, because they're saying no, he should make mistakes. He should like do 100 times make mistake, and then become to this point that where he did mistake. Depends on the people as well, because I've been in many places and I've seen people like that. I personally disagree with that. I don't want person to understand the technique, like, let's say, in a wrong way, and then like again and again made one mistake or drill this. That's the worst thing. When you drill something which is not working for you, and then in real sparring or like fight, you making this mistake and you're like shocked why does this
Right,
not
doesn't work.
work? Yeah, so
Yeah.
in my opinion, yeah, people should understand from very beginning, like the concept of the technique. They can masterpiece later, but at least step by step, grip by grip, how it works, I would like to explain like proper way and to make them understand. But as I said, Jiu-Jitsu world is incredibly huge and it's like a universe. So as many professors we have, as many techniques, as many methods, as much we teach, we grow, you can't never know like what's wrong, what's right. So I'm just
Ever evolving.
talking from my behalf now.
Hi, Babi here, interrupting my own podcast just to ask you for a favor. If you are liking this episode, make sure you hit that like button and the follow if you don't follow us yet. We are on your favorite podcast platforms, and we're also on YouTube with subtitles in Portuguese, so you can see our faces there. If at the end of this episode you think a friend might learn something from us today too, make sure you hit that share button. That's really, really important for us to keep getting to more people and to start bringing more people here to the podcast. If you don't follow us on social media yet, we are on Instagram and TikTok as BJJ Hood Podcast. So make sure you're following us there, leaving comments and suggestions for us. Yeah, that's true. We were curious, me and Shae, even like before we came to the call today, to know how's the jiu-jitsu scenario in Turkey? Is it big?
Oh, yeah, I would like to say about Turkey. No, unfortunately, it's not so big. The community just has started to grow, as I can say, because I think Turkey just doesn't have like a sport culture, for example, like Russia, because we are like with sports side by side from Soviet times, as maybe you know, guys, especially sambo, judo, like freestyle wrestling. In Turkey, a bit different mentality, and they just didn't had it before. But as I can see, it's growing with huge progression, especially with AGP, because I live here almost 5 years, and I've been refereeing, I think, already 4 AGP tournaments, and quite big. One of the tournament was European, and now very soon, by the way, will be Grand Slam in Istanbul, first Grand Slam in Istanbul under AGP. So I see from tournament to tournament how it grows. So the community is growing. more girls also starting to train. For example, I have also in my team like one girl and expecting more, of course. So for now, it's quite beginning. It's just the beginning. For
Yeah.
example, in Russia, maybe we have over like 50 black belts. I don't know how many, but here I think we can count maybe 10 or 12 in general
Oh
in
wow.
whole country.
Yeah.
Oh, holy
Yeah,
moly.
I think at the moment there's just two women black belt. It's me and Asena Melike Ansoy Cluzel. This is also, I think she's the first jiu-jitsu black belt woman in Turkey.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, just we are. Imagine, guys.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, it's
And the second black person or black belt in Turkey. That's kind of cool.
yeah. And it's good
That's like,
because I also like that your mentality is like to help to grow the sport, is like to teach, and maybe having you as one of the first ones there. It's great for the women that are coming now. They're gonna have a really good role model of like, this is how you learn, this is how after you get to a point where you're also a black belt, that you should be teaching how to bring like more people. You already have that mentality, so I think it's easier as they grow with you, like to learn that and to pass it over later
I hope
as they
so. I hope
progress.
so. I'm a big giver, to be honestly. I'm always trying to give as more as I can because I remember myself. And as you said before, as you mentioned, we were all white belts. And I wish there would be a woman like me because I was just training with guys all the time. Girls were like just one or two coming going. I was always with guys, which was cool, and I was fully fine with that because I love to train with guys. I'm a big girl, and I was not feeling, like kinda too many difficulties. I love to spar with guys. I could go full speed, full power just with guys without being afraid to harm someone, to hurt someone. So
Yeah.
it's fine. But I mean, just as I said, from mental side, I wish there would be a fully supportive higher woman black belt or like brown belt who could help me. But fortunately, I was traveling a lot and I met beautiful people. For example, Claudia Doval, she's an amazing person. She's such an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner, like champion, but also she's a very nice mentor, and I love her so much. She has really really huge impact in me as a human being, as a jiu-jitsu person. um, Other girls as well with whom I've been training, talking, even competing when I was losing. For example, I love my losses more than my winning parts. This weird, but it's true. And I remember all of them, like how cool they were, how respectful they were, and how much I've learned from them. And I was always looking for, like, at them as my teachers, my friends. And I just loved this feeling, of learning and how they can give more information. So that's why I'm telling I love to lose. I will not forget Christina Isadora, something like this, her name, as far as I remember. She's now very, by the way, famous, competing a lot, and I see her as a star. And she was my first opponent at my first European Championship when I was a blue belt. She like cracked me, like she won by points, but anyway. And I remember how cool she was. So we spoke a lot. She didn't speak English that time, like, but something in Portuguese, like just a few words. And I will never forget this moment, because now I see a star and I'm like, oh wow, like such a huge level. And I had opportunity to talk, to ask something, to be at the same part with these people. That's also one of the best part in jiu-jitsu, that you can touch the stars. Just name any sport where you can just chat with a world champion. In jiu-jitsu, free. You just go to competition, you can compete even against of them. Isn't it amazing? Like that's what I love. You can just chat with Mackenzie Dern. You can chat with Claudia Daval. You can go like to see Luisa Montero. You can talk with Andre Galvao and stuff like that.
That's true. That's something I don't think we think a lot, but it's completely true. Like the biggest names are easy. And sometimes if you sign up for a tournament, you might even fight one of them. It's not like they are so
Isn't
far
it crazy?
from you. Yeah.
They are not. And most of them, like stars, especially like old school stars, because like they can just talk to you. When Roger Gracie said my name, like, I mean, I know him, but I was like thinking, oh my God, he forgot like who I am. And then, oh, Mariia, hi. And I'm like, he remembered my name, you know? But such a cool people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that any football player, for example, like stars, let's say Cristiano Ronaldo, you can even like walk nearby, you know?
Yes.
It's like a different level.
That's
But
true.
our stars are touchable.
Yes,
That's what
true.
I also love about jiu-jitsu. It makes me crazy happy that we are so, most of us, we are simple people. We are love to chat, we love to share, we love to just, you know, like be all like brothers and sisters. That's what I love.
Yeah, that's true. Mariia, what would you say that in all these years in jiu-jitsu, what were your biggest challenges and your biggest accomplishments?
To be honest, I have a big plans on teaching, and this is kind of weird, but I can't say now the plans because I'm really working on to make them happen, and I don't want to say, you know, like I don't want to jump for the train. Yes. But the main goal is to teach, and since I was a blue belt, I've been dreaming to have a huge jiu-jitsu women team. This is not going out from my head, but we all have such a things as we need to survive and we need to work, and sometimes this is like creating a distance between us and our goals, our dreams. So I'm just working on shorten this distance and to come to this point that when I will have my own academy, this is my dream, the biggest dream, to have my own, even little place, but my own, to teach people. I'm dreaming to have a free group where I will teach like a woman, for example, who has kids and they will have time just at a day. I would like to have a free class for everyone who wants to join but can't. So teaching, and maybe teaching outside of the Turkey as well. So now, as I said, this is a little spoiler, but I hope this will happen, and maybe I'll let you know, guys, if you want.
Yes, yes, of course.
The biggest goal teaching, I think that about competing, I am a bit quite far from it because I don't train that much. I mean, that hard as it should be for a person who is a black belt and who is competing. I take serious competition, and I think that if you are competing, you have to prepare for that. You need to live a competitor life, and it's quite different. And I have to feed myself, I have to pay bills and stuff, so I can't let myself unfortunately this now. If I could, I would. I just want to say, but I need to work.
That's completely understandable. We were curious also with like how was it for you to become a referee? Like when did that start for you?
Oh my gosh, I think after just doing jiu-jitsu, I love to be referee. This is such an amazing thing to do. I started again in Moscow when I was a brown belt. I know the organizers who were like organizing, and they just contact me because I was always into rules kind of. When I was even white belt, blue belt, and like other lower belts, I was just sitting at the scoreboard and working for free when there were competition in my city. I always liked to use my knowledges because I think a couple of times definitely I won my match because I know the rules. And this is really huge part of jiu-jitsu. especially if you're competing in a gi, I think, because when you do grappling or ADCC, there are less rules than in IBJF or AGP. So I was just like, I just liked it. And I was feeling like I'm always in. For example, I was injured very hard. My PCL totally broken, but I didn't get surgery yet. I will, I hope soon. So I was just thinking how I can participate Jiu-Jitsu anyway. And this was the way, you know, I was coming to training. I was trying to referee like every match, even on which is happening on the mats, and then every competition scoreboard. So I was taking experience from just watching what referees are doing, how they are creating, not creating, sorry, how they're making decision, because the hardest thing of being referee in jiu-jitsu is to make decision right here, right now, and very fast. And this decision should be as fair as possible, let's say, because when you stay on the mat and you're watching the fight, it might look different for you than from people who are watching, you know, at the tribunes. You know, they just don't know, they don't see what you see. So I think this is a huge responsibility. And yeah, so that's how I started. And then the organizers there called me, and I was so happy that I can be a part of this important job. And I took it very serious. I've passed like a couple of RTP program, like referee training program. I have a couple of certificates and stuff like that. I've been in many seminars as a white belt, blue belt, doesn't matter, because I don't know how it's happening now. I think it's the same. When IBJJF coming to the city with tournament, they do rules, how explanation kind of seminar or something like that. Yeah. So I was always a part of this party, and I really loved it, because those people who were teaching, it's a high level of referee world, you know. Those people, they were just ahead of refereeing or something. It's such precious to hear from them this or that, to see the explanations, you know, and I was always a part of it. So that's how I got my experience. And after I got my black belt, I started to have invitations more and more. And first invitation to AGP tour, first ever AGP tour, happened in Istanbul. I was refereeing, and one and only woman at this time. And it was also such a huge responsibility for me, because, you know, like old guys, and I'm just one woman. Okay, I have to hold the face, and I have to be one of the best, because I'm one girl and everybody's watching me. You know, I felt on my skin this responsibility. And I'm proud of myself that I did a great job. Organizers say that I was one of the best and thank me. And I was like, you know, because guys looks like relaxed, you know, they're like more, okay, you're like, what's that? And I'm like, I have to be the best. I have to referee. So I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh my God, like, so, you know, like sensitive about athletes. I was worried about every match. Did I do right? Was it like fair or not? Because I'm also athlete. I would like to be refereed like I did to people, because it was fully fair and I was trying to be into them all the time.
Yeah, I think it's good when you see that you had both sides of experience, so you know how important
most
it
of
is.
the referees are like that, guys. Like most of the people who are refereing, they are competitors, or they were competitors. It can't be other way, you know. And that's why you get an experience of that. And then again, like I start to be all the time like a referee here, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope that I can do in other cities the same job. And then the last competition, they bring two girls more. I think they are Brazilian, and they were so cool. They are also very experienced black belts. We were like three of us already refereeing with the same line with guys. This made me proud of women, because when I was just white belt, blue belt, I think it was like 10 years ago, I have not seen that much as to be honest, I didn't saw a woman referee. And now every tournament that under AGP especially, I see like 3-4 girls refereeing. Isn't it amazing? It shows how we grow. It shows how we are developing. It shows that we are capable of doing the same things, again and again. For women empowerment, I think this is very important as well.
Yeah.
It's important to
Wow.
have at least one, like you said, you were the first one to be there, just you. When other women see that, they also know, okay, we can be there too, right? Like I can be like her, like I can work hard and achieve that position like she is right now. If there was no woman, it was just the guys, maybe other girls that were competing or watching, they would be like, yeah, maybe they would never let me be there just because there's no women. So it's really important to have that presence in there. The more that we can in all areas, like you said, jiu-jitsu has many different roles that you could do as a professor, as an athlete, as a student, as a referee, as a podcast, like anything. So
anything,
it's
and
great to have us there.
Jiu-Jitsu practitioners that I believe so, because this is also a part of the journey. And as I said, I found my present now being referee, being teacher, and there are many more. You can be a blogger, you can do podcasts, you can talk about it, and it will just help to develop jiu-jitsu in any case. And I wanted to say, you girls, like, you're doing an amazing job, and I'm very happy that you reached me out. This is your time. You like putting out your time. You're finding out people doing this, and I think I wish you guys a big success and to grow till the stars.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Even if we don't, we're still giving back to the community and putting you guys' stories out there, right? I did want to ask, so do you ref like outside of your city, right? You go other places, right?
So for now, I'm currently I've been invited to be a referee in Bulgaria as well, but unfortunately I can't go now because I have some things to do. I'm waiting for my new passport. As I said, I just got married, and I'm just waiting for the new document, so I just can't go like this, but I will.
Mariia, at the end of our episodes, we always like to ask people, the name of our podcast is BJJ Hood, and then it's in a sense of like sisterhood and brotherhood, and that sentiment that jiu-jitsu brings to us. What is BJJ Hood means to you?
Okay, BJJ Hood means to me is sharing, caring about each other, because I think nowadays, not just in jiu-jitsu, in the world, people stop to care about each other. So I care about who are watching me, who are listening me, who are around, who are participating in jiu-jitsu. So I think sharing, caring, and maybe love. Yes, because as I said, feelings are everything, and sometimes we do because we love even something bad for ourselves. I mean, like, you standing, you feeling like pain, but you're doing because you love to do what you are doing. So this is for me pretty much
awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Mariia, for taking your time and talking to us today, sharing a little bit of your story in jiu-jitsu and bringing some knowledge to whoever's listening to this episode. It was awesome to talk to you.
Thank you guys for having me. And I just wanted to say that English is not my native language, and I might talk not so good. So I just apologize for my English for everyone who are listening.
Don't even. I'm Brazilian too, so I'm always saying something wrong here. So don't worry.
Thank you so much.
And I don't speak another language, so there's that. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. It was awesome. I hope
That's what.
talk to you soon again one day.
Of course. For you that is watching this episode, make sure you share with a friend that can benefit for something that we talked about here today. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We're also on YouTube with subtitles in Portuguese. And of course, follow us on our social media. Follow Mariia too. We're going to leave her social media here on the description of the episode. That way you can also follow her journey and see all her plans and dreams coming true. We'll see you guys again next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Would you like to share your story? Email us at bjjhoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at bjjhoodpodcast.